Hello everyone, I am Diptam, Head of Development here at ResearchNet.ai. This is a short demo of ResearchNet new product Athena, which is a local private research assistant. Athena works on a scoped knowledge basis. On the left hand side we have all the scopes that we can have, and on the right hand side we have all the knowledge control. Before we look into how Athena works, let's look at how the scope knowledge is done. This is a overview of the scope that can be there in Athena. On the top level, we have projects. You can have multiple projects, but when you start Athena for the first time, we will be giving you a brand new project to start on. You can obviously create new ones. Each project will have a global workspace, and users can create as many workspaces as they want. Each of the workspace can have sessions, and each sessions can have a main thread. Users can branch off from the main thread as many times as they want, and when they are satisfied with the answer, they can merge back into the main thread, and this can be done with any workspace in any session. This is an overview of how Athena's knowledge scoping works. Now let's look at how Athena works. To first start Athena, you will be given a default project and a global workspace for this default project. You can obviously go ahead and create a new project. Let's call it black holes. For this new project, we have another global workspace, but we can go ahead and create a new one called black holes workspace. Now let's create a session, which is a chat session. Let's name it intro to. Now this is your chat window, and this is all the knowledge control that you can do. Let's first ask the agent to answer what is black hole. The assistant is now streaming the answer. This is the answer that our assistant gave. We can now improve upon this by providing more details. We can upload files from here. Files can be of different types, and we can track folders also to track multiple files at once. So for now, let's upload a file in the current thread, which is this session or this branch. Let's click on add new, and let's upload a PDF of research paper. Now this PDF is uploaded, and in the backend it's getting chunked and vectorized. You can close this and ask another query. But for now, let's do more research and go to the thread research tab and ask archive to find us relevant documents. The agent will use the archive API and find relevant documents for your query. You can obviously look at the history or clear out the panel. If you want to look into the paper by yourself and then only add it to the database of Athena, you can do it from this button. But for now, I will just go ahead and click on this thread button, which will add this document into the thread context. I'll go ahead and add this paper also. Now in the backend, the RAG processing engine will process all those documents, and it will vectorize the PDF and store it in our vector database. Then we have another tab which is called archive. Here you can track files or folders or even take notes. We'll come to this in a moment. This is there to make sure that whatever you have done in your past research, any files that you have created can be imported in Athena and can be used in chat context. Then we have take note feature. If you take any note throughout this thread, then those will be visible over here on thread, session, workspace or project. Now what is note? Say you are chatting and you found some new information. You don't want to create a new PDF, but you want to store that information so the bot can access that. You can click on this scratch pad, which is a note taking feature, for adding it to the thread, or you can click on session note to add it to the whole session, or you can click it the WS note and it will add the note to the whole workspace. Now let's create a note for the thread only. This will open up a tab and you can type in whatever information that you want the bot to access. You can say, I like black holes. You can name this note, and then obviously you can click on save and it will save into this note feature. As you can see, when I clicked on save, it saved here my view on black holes. You can click on it and it will allow you to edit the note. Now there is this scoped knowledge feature. This basically shows all the knowledge that was added for this thread, for the session, or for the current workspace, or for the current project. So you can click and see what was added. Remember, we did some thread research and I added some archive papers. Those are added over here. Because we added in the thread, that's why they're visible in thread. We added some files from the file upload. That's why this PDF is also here. And we created some notes. So that's why the note is also here. Now, this is the chat settings. Over here you can enable RAG and use latest research. If you enable RAG, then it will only answer from the uploaded sources. If you enable latest research, then it will look at the date of the uploaded files and only the latest notes will be used. If there is no latest note, then it will give priority to the nearest latest note. Now let's ask it another query. With this question, I have enabled latest research and knowledge RAG. So it will go through all the scope knowledges and answer based on that. Now the assistant has answered the question. You can see when the RAG was enabled, a sources button is present now. This basically lists all the sources that were used to answer this question. You can click on more and fork the session, will come to it again, regenerate the answer and promote the knowledge to either workspace or to the project. Or say you want a single line to be added as a note. Say in simpler terms, this line is important for you. You can highlight this line like this and a button will appear which says I think this is important. If you click on it, this will add this as a note. You can obviously edit the note and click on save and it will be added here in the scope knowledge and also in the taken note part. Now say you want to continue this chat but in a different session. You can click on more and click on fork session. This will create a fork of the previous session and all the history will be preserved. Now let's go back to the first session. Over here you can see a button called branch. If you click on it, then you can create a new branch in this whole thread. If you remember the diagram, we had the main session and when you branch off, we create another thread which is a children thread of this main thread or a main branch. Let's call it new thread. Great. As you can see, this shows it's all inherited from the previous one. Now you can continue chatting over here. Say now about my question, tell me a fact about singularity. It answered, but see, this is in the main only, which was branched off from the previous one. If you want to see all the branches, then you can click on this map icon and it will show all the branch and sub branches of that. As you can see, this was the main branch and we branched off over here and created a new branch. Now let's say after this you want to merge this knowledge with the main one because you found some information over here that should be there in the main thread or the main branch. You can right click on it and click on the place where you want to add the information. This will create a merge history. If I close it, as you can see, this is a merge history. So when you merge two branches, it will create a merge history by default. Then you can go ahead and edit it and add more information. Then click on create merge summary. That will merge those two branches. But you can obviously continue with all the other branches of that thread, because a thread is not getting collapsed into the main one. It's just the information is getting carried over to the main one. So you can continue with that thread, but for now let's create the merge summary. As you can see, in the main thread, if I go to the map, in the main thread there is a new entry, and that entry is this merge summary, which merges all the relevant information from here, from the child branch to the main branch. And you can continue chatting. So this basically adds a history in the context, and all of that can be helpful for your new research. Now to summarize, every thread can be branched off as many times as you want. Threads can be merged together, that will create a merge summary into the thread that was getting merged into. These threads are collectively called a session. Multiple sessions can be there in a workspace, and multiple workspaces can be there in a project. A project will always have a global workspace. You can create as many workspaces or as many projects or as many sessions or as many branches you want, or upload as many documents you want, or do as many research on archive. The backend is handled by Olama, so pull any model from Olama and you can get started working on that. If you click on settings, it will show you can change the models from here. So say you pull a new model, you can come here and change the model to that, and the Athena bot will use that model only. You can backup your data. The backup will basically create a new folder and store all the documents there, so in case something happens you can always retrieve from there. By default it's for 7 days, but you can always reduce or increase this